Hey, I'm Mr. Welcome back to TTR The Man. Ride on the Edge has been now taking part in the Triumph Invitational as we head into June round the Castle Wing track for 4 mass start events. 5 laps on this 5.5 kilometre long circuit. But look at that fame increase, look at that difficulty level, look at my stress level start to rise through the roof. And we have a full field. Fantastic, as half of them are filled with BMWs. We've got a couple of Hondas, a Kawasaki, and Andy Allen is on the Suter in this 9-man field. Over half of them are BMWs. We've got the likes of Michael RotE, Peter Hickman, Ian Hutchinson in the field. John McGuinness as well. Got the star names out. Let's see if Andy Allen can be among them. And so we are revving out about the start in 4th on board our Suter. Let's get underway for this mass start event, the first of 4 of them, as we drop back to 5th. Let's see if we can make some positions up. Well, back to 4. We get right onto Hutchinson's tail. Try and battle for 3rd. I can see you down the inside, mate. And in 2nd, just does not bother to go through the corner. So we get some more damage on his opening lap, but we make our way up into 2nd. Let's try and make it for the lead. Doesn't quite work though. So the leader gets away, and it sounds like we're just holding the rest of the pack up. So the leader gets Andy Allen a pint after this race. We go into the chicane. No, through the left, through the right. The rear tries to get out. Into the second part of the chicane, through the right and left of part of that section. There seems to be a place where we're pretty strong though. It looks like we gained on the leader slightly. Now into the slow right hand, a bit of a wide line. Yeah, we probably had to short shift up there as we're going to lose the bike. She just nailed the throttle. Can't be doing that on board this Suter. Need to be so smooth with your inputs. With the throttle, the rate transfer, the leaning. And of course with the braking as well, which is perhaps the worst aspect of this bike. You go through the left-hander at the end of the lap, right in the tail first. This is where we want to be. And seems like we survived the first lap with a 151 as well in the open. That's not too bad. You can definitely go under the 150s then, I believe. As we go through the left-hander. And now, don't survive the madness of the opening lap, we can maybe just slot into our rhythm now. You know, it sounds like 3rd is still right on our tail. As we head towards next tight right-hander. Once again, brakes don't like that corner. I told you, the brakes are absolutely horrible on this bike. It's like they've got paper plates trying to stop a cheetah. And of course, if you know a cheetah, paper plates are not what you want to stop a cheetah. You need something a bit more substantial, so having these things trying to stop this beast is not working at all. But can you blame them for having such terrible brakes trying to stop this thing? It's probably meant to be expected. But we are holding on to 2nd though on this 2nd lap. Just about. There we go, through a section where we should be quick. To the right and left. Okay, good speed through there. And through the left hand and just controlling the throttle. Not rolling completely off it. So now we head towards the end of the lap. Get down to 3rd for the left. And down to 1st for the final corner. Again, the brake's not working at all. We cross the line. The 149, I think that was. So at least we beat the 150 mark already. As we go past my failures. The outtake, shall we say, at the end of the video. There's going to be numerous of these because these mass start events are feel absolutely pointless sometimes. trying to race against these opponents. And we definitely felt that quite a few times as we approach the halfway mark of this race though. The first of 4. So you see why so many races for these. At least just make them feel TT. Just make them TT. That's all I want. Time gaps so I don't have to deal with all these opponents on the opening lap. Because once you survive the opening lap, as you can see, we can just ride by ourselves. It feels more like a TT event then. We're kind of just riding to the lead at the moment. Making sure we keep in touch. Making sure we're not getting punted from behind as well, keeping that gap consistent. Let's go for the right hander, through the left. And through the next left and through the right. So the gap seems to be consistent over the leaders into the second half of this race. Go for the left-hander rear, trying to get away slightly. As you try and carry speed through a corner. How dare we? It's that time. Once again around 148. I think we're slightly quicker. So that seems to be leading pace. So maybe we need to be closer to a 45 maybe. To be right up there with the leader at the moment. Maybe that can just be our aim then. For all 4 races of this event to get down to a 45 in the end. It'll be very challenging. We know how we can do it once we get better around this circuit. Because that's the first time we made it round that corner as well, properly. In this race, it's the ultimate lap. So really easing it in to this section now. To the left and right. Get down to first. Nice and smooth on the power. Look at our windscreen, so dirty as well. We only had 4 laps around a short circuit. Let's almost cut the tyres on the inside. We're just about to survive. We've got a lap and a half to go. Can we catch the leader? Still finishing second in the first race. We'll take that. We'll finish on the podium places. That in any race. That's the thing about these events. You've got 4 races here. You've got to be consistent if you want to win them. We've got the best bike, so we should be winning them. Of course, the main thing is that we do unlock all the Triumphs though. After this event, we do well. So that was closer towards a 145. You can see we've gained slightly, but it's not enough, is it? We go into the right-hander. Kind of braking early there. And it's a bit like Sandevot at Monaco. You brake early, it's all about the exit. You can see this is one of the more flat-out stretches of that corner. So if you brake early, and you concentrate on getting a good acceleration through that section, carrying speed through the whole of that section towards the next right-hander. That's the same with Sandevot when you're going uphill at Monaco. And you're flat out for quite a bit. Until Mirabone, Casino Square. Sorry, no, it's Massenet, isn't it? Casino Square. Mirabeau's the right-hander, the slow right-hander after. As you cut the tyres on the inside, but get away with it. So I don't think we're winning this one. This should be a very good result to set it up as we're familiar with the bike round this circuit. Now we've memorised the circuit. I haven't been round Castle Ring a lot. Once again, it's one of the short circuits, so it doesn't take long to remember it. But I believe it's the first time with the suit around here, so it's good to just have a race by ourselves. Explore the circuit on board the Suitor. As we cross the line. In second too, Hutchinson to the king. He did a 47.4. Hickman in third, Gay Johnson fourth, Cummins in fifth. Then you've got Honda, McGuinness, not even in the top 5. RotE down in 8th. So we get 9 points. Well, Hutchinson gets 9 points. We get 6 points. In 4, 3, 2, 1. So the top 6 again get paid out with old style F1 points. So let's see what we can do in the second race. Can we go one better? So we are starting in second for the second race. Try and get a good start on board the Suter. Again, it steers right when I'm leaning forwards. I swear I'm not inching either left or right as you get right into second. That's our position, mate. Okay. Never had a poor start. First is much better our position as you get right into Hutchinson. And he gets back into us. Not a fan of us. Trying to nudge him out of the way. Get our rear brake on, go very wide through the right-hander, but we take the lead. What a scrappy beginning. We've survived the melee. Now can we hold on? Maybe put away. Let's go into this section with the chicanes. Chicanes are our friend. I don't often say that about circuits, but around this circuit definitely is. So use some rear brake because again the brake's just not stopping this thing. There's opening that. It's actually a component where the brakes have to heat up. It definitely feels like on board this Suter. Because you're not comfortable with the brakes at all and it's opening that. It does feel like by the 3rd or 4th lap you can actually stop your bike. But not in the opening lap, maybe even the 2nd lap as well. Just not as confident in the brakes. Going to the final corner. In the lead and with an opening lap of a 1:48. That's more like it. That's almost fastest lap speed already. Just need to do that for the next 4 laps. Hey, maybe we'll be close to that 45 then. We won't be doing that once again, the brake's not working. If we keep doing that though, going wide and going into the wall, which is so easy to do on board this bike, so easy compared to the Honda. EBS as well. Not EBR, should I say. EBS is a totally different thing, I think. I almost think of UBS. Go into the left, to the right. And see, we're getting a bit brave now in our second race, clipping some dirt. We don't mind doing that. It's gone silent behind. Are we putting away? Is the dream happening? Are we on a TT event now? The remaining 3.5 laps. Can we just ride by ourselves, just enjoy this? Another beautiful circuit here. Just enjoy riding round on our Suter. I am a big fan of the bike, just not the brakes. Its engine braking seems to be very good. Of course it is, because it's a pretty powerful thing. Maybe not as good as the EBR at times though. But again, I'm probably not utilising it the best on board this bike as well. As we cross the line, that is close to a 45. It's a 46 at least, something like that. That is more like it, son. And we made the mistake here, remember? So no doubt, 45 is already within grasp. I'd imagine that in the second race, on the 3rd lap. Before it taking a bit longer. Get it down to 1st. We're definitely getting used to the Suter again, rear climatised. Definitely used to it around this track as we lifted way too early there. Looked at the wrong marker there. Normally lifting by the speed camera, I think that is. that's covered in blue. And I misread the sign before it as the speed camera, so that's why I lifted it a bit early there. And that's the strange thing about these circuits, that you're not only looking at brake markers, you're looking at hedges, trees, signs, just any object to help you with your turning, with your braking. It is not at all like circuit racing in that aspect, but then you got to treat it like circuit racing, as I said, and make it feel like circuit racing. Because if you just remember, oh, I'm racing around on open roads where if I make one turning mistake, could be curtains. Even in virtual world, that's a scary prospect. Especially as you've probably noticed in these videos, trying to do these in one attempt, with no restart, no respawns either. So I could be on the final lap, but if I make a mistake, crash off, that's it, restarted, and that is going to be a pain in the Isle of Man races. So I'm already thinking that maybe I've got to be a bit more lenient on myself there, but at the moment, around these type of races, there's no need to want to be that lenient. Especially as you see, we're alright round here. Oh, once again, the brakes. What is it about that last braking phase sometimes? It feels like it's slowing down and it just giddy ups when you get down to first gear. Like it's not stopping at all for some reason. As you know, I have to hold it in second for so long there. So we can get it down to first. Again, get it down to first at the last moment. There's something about first under braking, it feels like, in this bike. Maybe I'm just getting paranoid, I think. As I said, it feels like it's the last part of the braking phase which is letting us down when we're going off. Maybe I'm just locking the brakes and I'm not realising because I'm not really feeling it. But normally when I lock the brakes, I can feel it. So that's what's making me a bit curious about these times when we're going a bit wide. But I do love this bliss of being in the lead, just hearing the wind, either side, hearing the crowd, and just the atmosphere, rather than your fellow bikes and idiots. As we go into the final lap, this looks like it's going to be under 9 minutes, which is very good. I believe the first race was as well. It's kind of the base target. Like I said, I feel like we're close to that 45 already. Maybe even a 44 could be the offering in the next couple of races. So it definitely feels like home now racing around it. You can see braking very early. The right hand, and again in first, feels like the bike's pushing slightly. Of course, you are releasing the brakes as well at that point, but still, you know, release the brakes in second, it's not as bad. As I go past the crowd, massive crowd here. Look at all these sections filled. Doesn't mess up the chicane, no. Okay, don't get distracted by the crowd. Don't look around. That's probably a good tip in any type of racing. Just don't look around everywhere. Concentrate on the black stuff and getting around it. Or if you're rallying, on the gravel as well. Or off-road race in the sand. And any type of racing, just concentrate on the surface you're racing on rather than what's around. I do have that occasionally. I remember when learning to drive, I almost crashed a few times because I was daydreaming in the middle of just driving. So yeah, I'm surprised I'm still upright doing some of these races. As you come to the end of the second race, and that's dominance. That's what we want to see on board the seats. And there is the 45, but now we've got to go under the 45. As the BMW crosses the line 10 seconds behind. Hutchinson has climbed up to second somehow, even though he finished behind Johnston. It's just home field advantage maybe for Hutchinson. He's just the lead BMW. He's got to be the lead BMW with RotE up to 6th now, which is good to see. McGuinness down in 7th though, Hickman in 4th. So we're joint leader with Hutchinson, then Hickman's joint with Johnson, then Cummins and McGuinness and RotE are level on 1 point. And here we are, starting from pole. As we go into the second half of races, and that's a terrible start as we get hooked on the BMW. We drop down to 2nd. Or not, as we take the lead back. He's got to lift through the left-hander, then start braking immediately for the right. Looks like we're holding on to our lead as well. Great stuff. Just opening it up after a horrible start there. But of course, that's a real tactic. Just hook your opponent. You know, that's what all the greats do. Oh, once again, absolutely terrible braking into the right-hander. Tried to use some rear brake, otherwise there could have been curtains there. As we brake into the chicane, clipping some dirt. Sounds like we pulled away slightly. Let's go through the right and left. Get hard on the throttle this time and it works. Beautiful response from the suitor. We get down to 1st, we locked up. The rear had to use lots of rear brake there. Or locked up the front, should I say. Use lots of rear brake there to get the bike stopped for the corner. So you lift slightly to the right left. Then through the left right. Hard on the power early through the right. Just as soon as you feel like you can pick up the bike, you get hard on that throttle. Then through the left. And in the final corner, all the way down to 1st. As we cross the line, 47 this time for an opening up. Around the end, putting down a marker into the second half of races. This is his circuit, he's saying, without opening up. And who's arguing with him? To be honest, Hutchinson did in the first race, no one in the second. Sounds like no one's near him in the third already. This is such a tricky braking zone, that right-hander. You have to brake before the end of that wall on the left-hand side. You brake after that, you're gonna. It's a matter of inches. Just as we brake for this chicane, when the rocks appear on the right-hand side. And then we brake. Goes right left, and the penultimate banner on the right. As we're going to talk you through a lap apparently in the second lap. We brake as the rocks on that left hand side. The giant rocks appear. Get down to 1st. And we slightly lift just before you can see all those markings on the road, all those road repairs. And then through the left, just easing off the throttle. And as soon as we feel comfortable, to the right, get on that power. And then there's a sign on the right hand side where we brake for this left-hander. And in this corner, it's just before those roadworks again on the road. And that is a lap, Castle Ring. Oh, I forgot to describe the first section, didn't I? The first corner just slightly off the throttle. Try and hit the apex, and again, ease off the throttle through the left. Then brake, as you saw, that kind of barrier on the right hand side. Well, just as the road appears to straighten. And hard on the front, and here we go, you can really see that wall on the left hand side there. Braked a bit early this time, just want to show you that. And this corner, that corner feels like that corner from hell. On that West Sussex 4000 circuit. But it just feels like it's going away from you slightly. It's all clipped. Bit of the puddle on the inside there through the left. That's not what you want to happen. Brakes slightly late for the corner. Again, rear brake coming to the rescue. And this bike picks up so beautifully when you get on top of it. This bike is an absolute dream to ride. As you go through the right and left, I feel like we definitely are controlling the beast, taming it around this Castle Ring circuit. As we're into the second half of this race, definitely are in control of the race once again. Once again, you're seeing that first race being off the pace, but it just helps so much for the future races. Especially finishing right up there. So as you saw, we started in the mid-pack in that first race. It was a bit hairy. But then we learned from Hutchinson. And now, from the second race onwards, we're just putting our own spin on it, being a bit quicker. It also helps that you ease off the throttle before braking for this corner. Just a little bit of air. We'll get it onto the brakes. Needs to work. It's almost taking like a circuit now, as you can see, accelerating straight lines, keeping close to the right lines either side. As you accelerate out of that corner, you've got to be careful of the bollards as well at the sides. Very solid things, don't want to be hitting them. May have learned that from experience. You may see in the outtakes at the end as well. But everything. Got to be careful around here. Not least of all the rider himself, because I'm not the best. And the Annan is though. Definitely showing that, isn't he? In this race once again. Go for the left-hander. I do love that corner. It was more like a circuit corner than a road course. Road racing corner, that. You can just gradually ease the bike through it. As we go on to the final lap, I believe, of another race. They are flying by now. Go for the right-hander. And under the bridge, got a couple of lucky spectators up there. Got a fantastic view of seeing the bikes accelerate from that right-hander into this right-hander. So taking a bit of the mickey here now. We really are easing into the corners. It sounds like we've got a good lead, so we can afford to do it on this final lap. And I had to rate Castle Ring. Be up there in the top 5, I think, of the fictional circuits, or top 5 circuits in the game. Of course, the famous TT course is right at the top, but by all its sections, so maybe actually it'd be in the top 20. Castle Ring. But it's definitely a handy little circuit. And at just 5.5 kilometres long. But I do love Old Bear Forest, especially our other circuits. Don't know why, it's such a simple circuit. Just 3 kilometres long, but there's a little bit of everything with those hairpins. The little S section with the stone walls either side. The barriers either side as well. And then being flat out by the houses. And you've got those little bumps as well, which could really upset the bike. It's just a good challenge. Such a little circuit has. We win at another one. 1:45.9, we're slacking. We need to be under the 45 in this final race. As you win ahead of Johnston, this time definitely ahead of him by 4.6 seconds. They're gaining. They're almost under the 9-minute barrier. As we've got Hutchinson third, Cummins fourth, McGuinness fifth, Santos in sixth. So that means we lead by 4 points. So we can finish in the top 2. And then we've won this Triumph Invitational. Ahead of Hutchinson, who's 5 points ahead of Johnson. Again, just the same rules for Hutchinson. Then we've got Hickman in fourth, tied with Cummins. They've got a great battle going on McGuinness in 6th, Santos 7th, and RotE in 8th. So here we are, revving out for hope for the final time on board our Suter from pole. We're looking to launch it into that clean air, but so are the BMWs of Johnston and Hutchinson, and they have done that. At the start, whoa, Johnson slows down massively right in front of us. Nothing we could do to avoid him there. As we do get past Hutchinson though for the lead. And hopefully that's the last we see of our opponents. Hope we can ease away command like we have done in the previous couple of races. So once again using some rear brake to get the bike stopped for the second right. And that was a good combination of front and rear brake there. So to go towards the left-right chicane, our favourite section of the lap, where the noise of the engines behind start to drone away. And it gets a bit quieter behind, and it has once again in this final race. That's the opening half that we wanted. Now it's just a TT event for us again. You know, it sounds like second trying to keep up on this opening lap. Surely put away though through this high speed section for the right and the left. Just rolling off the throttle effectively. Oh, a bit too much to the left there. We're able to pick up the throttle quickly though. Right. And brake effectively into the left hander. And into the final corner. Nice and smooth on the powers. That was a high 47 or a low 48 for the opening lap. A bit disappointing. We've been looking at mid 47s most of the time on the opening lap. And the main thing is we've pulled away. And unfortunately it may be another quite rate action rise, but these are the kind of mass start races we want. Don't be battling other people. Could lead to trouble. Or maybe even excitement on the other end of the scale. There, we may cut down on mass start races in the future, even if it's invitationals we need to do, because these races are just not fun at all to record. Sure, we're winning them. Sure, they give out grand prizes and enable us to buy new bikes, but the process, just not at all. Especially with other games, 2 World Games coming out as well. It might just be worth dropping doing these mass start races and doing just concentrating on the TT events, which is just you against the track, against your opponents. You don't have to worry about your opponents as much. And it's just more fun that way. Much more enjoyable TT events. Makes you wonder why they put in mass start events in the first place in this. Maybe just to add some variety. That's the only reason I can think of, because they've excluded it horribly. Unfortunately, the opponents, they're not that good. Don't notice you at all. Sure, they're decent riding against each other on occasion, but then they're also taking themselves out for no reason on opening laps as well half the time. So yeah, this type of riding though, but you can just treat it as a TT style event. It's pretty good. And there we go, look at that rear brake. Good combination again, showing that you can brake a bit deeper maybe. It does sound like second is trying to stick on our tail as we approach the halfway mark of this race. Do have a bit of trouble on our tail. Once again, trying to break away though. Let's use some rear brake there. As you saw, we're a bit late turning, but it helped get the bike stopped, helped us get turning done properly. Definitely learning about the combination of front and rear brake in this race. And so that's what you need if you want your the most effective at braking. So she has, it doesn't seem to be affecting tyre wear from what I can tell. Unlike in, say, MotoGP games. So he didn't roll off the throttle at all there, he just stayed at the same throttle percentage. That seemed to work through that section. Might have to do that again in the final couple of laps. As he goes to the penultimate lap of the race, penultimate lap of the event. We're almost there. As you go through the left-hander. Just easing it into the corners. But again, second doesn't sound too far away, so we've got to be careful. But it seems like we're doing well. We have enjoyed our time around Castle Ring. It's not been all terrible. Enjoyed riding the suit around here. Again, the suitor was still not 100% on it, as that really shows, definitely. Just showing off for the fans, you know. I mean, we had to put up with 4 races of this, so got to give them something back. Massive crowd as well, all over the place. Once again, do not be distracted by the crowd. That is not a good idea. As we've got a lap and a half to go. I'd have thought I've learnt that by now, but obviously not. But yeah, Castle Ring, pretty good track. Maybe not the best behind the TT, full TT circuit. It's taking that super hillside in Wales, that 8km circuit, which is so fast and so enjoyable. It's got its slow couple of corners, but it's just got a superb flow around there. And so quick, as I said. That's the same with the fake Ulster GP track on Antrim, I believe that is. Unless I get my fake Northwest 200 track confused, which I believe is the Triangle Raceway. Well, they're pretty good circuits as well, the Northern Irish ones. You've got the other Welsh circuit of the Docks, which is just good for some difference with the surroundings. Even though it's very short, we'd have liked it being a bit longer. It's still a great little blast around the Docks. And then we've got Old Blair Forest, which I said such an enjoyable circuit for it being so short as well. Got this Castle Ring in Scotland as well. You got the English circuit, which was probably the least favourite actually. The Herefordshire circuit, the West Sussex circuit as well. Not the biggest fans of them, they're definitely at the bottom with all the chicanes. And most being mass start races as well, just not a big fan of them. So in a shock, the top for the books, Isle of Man at the top, of course. Then Wales in second, Scotland in third. England at the bottom. Circuit wide at least. Oh, Northern Ireland should I say right up there. Then Scotland. Yeah, I think that's how the circuits go. Randy Adden. So we've got the penultimate corner now. This event. One corner to go. Sure you can't mess it up. Just get hard on the power. Go across the line. And where's second? I thought they were right on our tail. Did their first out of 46.6. Definitely did stack in that final race. Just got under the 9-minute barrier. 5.2 ahead of Hutchinson. RotE in third on the podium. Good to see. And Cummins in fourth. Santos fifth. And Johnston in sixth. So we win by 6 points. Then 10 points. Back to Johnston, who's 5 points ahead of 10-pointed Cummins, who won that bout ahead of Hickman for fourth. He's just a single point ahead of RotE in the end. And McGuinness and Santos level in 7th and 8th. And thank God that's over. We've got almost 10,000 fans ahead to the Kazakh Invitational next around the Old Blair Forest race. 4 races, 5 laps, you know the drill. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Got Almost get nailed in front. It's not happening at the moment. Let me go for the lead. As we approach the first, they're off massively. Not enough. Let's get underway for the first. Fuck off. Come on. Let's get underway. Come on. As we had to use lots of rear brake. Come on. Let's get underway. Or not. So we go through the right, left. Thanks, rider. Oh, he's hit us. Idiot. Can we hold on, though? What? Let's head towards the next right hand. We've been punted from behind. Slight touch of the rear brake. Come on. We're braking for the left-hander.